Looking at the Markets with David Modell. Welcome to Looking at the Markets with David Modell. Today I've got a very special guest. She is Miss Latoya Smith. Miss Smith is a mother, a mentor, and a stock trader. She runs Trades and Tykes, and that's Tikes, tradesandtykes.com. Link is in the description as always, which is not just for moms, but is for anybody who wishes to improve their trading skills and cut down on their learning curve expeditiously. Latoya, welcome to Looking at the Markets.
Thank you, David. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for coming on. It's great to have you. Now, let's start at the beginning. To start off, how did you first get into finance and trading, and are there any mentors you'd like to give a shout out to?
All right. Well, first, in terms of finance, I've always been a financial type of person. I went to college. I majored in business with a concentration in finance. And how I got started with trading, I was approached by a friend who wanted to form an investment club. So we formed a club together, and that's how it all started. So this dates back probably in like 2006, 2007. We formed a club. We gathered other people that were interested, and I started looking at stocks just based on the participation of the members coming together, us pooling our monies, as well as coming up with different stock picks, analyzing and deciding what we may buy as an investment group. I was a treasurer, so I was responsible for actually placing the trade within the broker's account. I became a little obsessed because at the time I did work for State Street Bank, and since I had access to a computer basically at the job, I did that on the side in terms of watching the stocks, buying the stocks, placing the trades in the broker account. So I was able to really see the movements every day in the markets, just watching the stocks we pick go up and down, up and down.
Right.
And then eventually I opened my own account, and I started to dabble just a little bit and then a lot, and then it just took off from there.
Great. All right. Now, busy parents, such as yourself, might think that they just don't have time or the knowledge to be able to trade like you do. What would be your message to them?
I would say there's definitely time. You have to make time. I am a mother of two little ones. I would say before I had the kids, I found trading definitely enjoyable. I love to analyze and just in terms of searching for different picks. Since I had my daughters, I scaled back in terms on analyzing and researching different picks. I'm more of a technical trader.
Right.
So I believe in parents, mothers, fathers with busy schedule. If you learn the technical aspect of trading, is much more easier, less time consuming than the actual fundamental part of trading.
No, sounds like a call is coming in. I totally agree with you there. Fundamentals, researching it, that means researching the company, learning all about them, their balance sheets, whether they beat or miss earnings reports, things like that. Whereas the technicals, I think you can do more quickly if you're strapped for time. Would you agree with that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I would say to the parents to focus more on the technical aspect of things, and you can make time, definitely, because it's much easier, it's faster to analyze a chart rather than digging through all the data of the financial aspects within the companies. So just bypass that part and jump right into technicals.
Yep. Now, speaking of technicals, you believe in rule-based trading. What are some of your unbreakable rules that you would never break?
All right. Since I am a day trader, I take advantage of the intraday parts of the market, but specifically the market open. One of my major rules that I will not break, I must wait at least 4 minutes before entering any trade. That's a must, according to my strategy. So I wait the 4 minutes and I see how the 2-minute candles form, and then I move on from there. And I'll make my assessment based off of the first opening of the 4 minutes, basically, 2-minute candle bars.
Yeah. That's really interesting. You know, I hear some people have told me don't trade at all in the first half hour of the trading day. It's too volatile, too crazy. You can't get a sense of the direction of the markets. Would you? Is that the same type of thinking we're talking about?
So there, I disagree in a sense, but I understand in a way. So the first half an hour of the market, very, very volatile, and I capitalize on that volatility. I trade basically momentum. You could call them gaps. So whatever gaps up, gaps down. Is very strategic to the way I trade.
Yeah.
So if something gaps down, depending on what it is, depending on the support and resistance levels, I can pretty much 90% say, hey, this thing is going to either trade in the direction of the gap or it's going to bounce off of support and hit resistance. I already analyze and pretty much know exactly where my price levels are. Right. So that's how I'm able to make that quick judgment within the first half an hour of the market. Now, another thing is within the first half an hour of the market, that's when I generally would make that pretty much the most money. Taking advantage of the first trade, and that's pretty much it.
I like the sound of that. So you mean it's possible to make some trades early in the day, take your profits, and enjoy the rest of the day? That's what it sounds like.
That's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. I trade no later than 12 p.m. every day. So generally, it will be the first morning trade, sometimes 1 or 2, depending on the time frame. Take advantage of the morning volatility. By like 10:30, the latest, I should be done with just 2 trades, and I usually walk away after that. Now, I know a lot of people would have a strategy where they have to wait the first half an hour due to the volatility, probably due to not understanding exactly how those gaps or the momentum trades move. They may wait that extra half an hour so that 30-minute candle can produce, and they'll probably find a direction from there. But by that time, I'm already out and enjoying life, as we like to say.
Yeah, and that sounds like a pretty good plan. I'm talking with Miss Latoya Smith from Trades and Tykes, Tikes, tradesandtykes.com. Link in the description of the video. Check it out for sure. I'm looking at the website. You've got a blog that I like to read a lot. You've got other information, and you have standard services and premium services. What can you tell me about those?
Well, the standard services are basically the basics in terms of really helping beginners get their feet wet in the market, taking them to A to Z so they can understand how to place their first trades. I know a lot of, let's say, beginners, they'll probably jump into the market without really understanding the market structure.
Yeah.
So I break that down in each of those basic courses. I take them from the beginning so they can understand the concepts and why they may be placing certain type of trades. I go into the technical aspects so they can be well prepared to take their first trade properly. Now, in terms of the premium service, is for more of advanced traders that already may be in the market, struggling a little bit, can't find a great solid strategy. So basically, I share my strategy. I help them with technical analysis because I'm a firm believer of technical analysis. All my trades, every single one of them, are based off of support and resistant levels. I trade futures, I trade forex, I trade stocks, and the same logic and principle applies to each and every one of those markets. So I try to share my vision, the knowledge, and everything they need in order to be a more successful trader.
Yeah, and I like the way you offer the premium service with that that personalized service where you're really helping them. You're not just giving out, oh, here are my trades, good luck. No, you're actually helping people learn to do this on their own, which I think is fantastic.
Yes, I don't have anything automated, so they get direct access to me.
Yeah.
Everything is one-on-one. We go through Skype sessions or Google Hangout, depending.
Right.
Also, another thing, as we advance in the course, we actually have live trading, so they can see my screen. They can see how I enter. I explain as I do it. They see how I exit. They see everything that they was taught throughout the course by live examples.
That's
so they
great.
will see that it's not fluff. This is real. This is what I do.
Yep. Now, you talked about support and resistance levels. That's so important. Now, can you give us a little preview of how you find those support and resistance levels?
Sure. I start off by using a larger picture time frame. So I'll give an example, like a weekly chart. I would like to find weekly support and resistance levels on a larger picture time frame. And I then break it down into finding daily. So depending on, let's say if it's a swing trade, we need a larger picture. I need to understand what's weekly resistance or what's weekly support. And then I'll go from there. I can use one example I'll give to you, which is WYNN, W-Y-N-N. I don't have the chart up in front of me as we speak, but I just remember the chart because a few people who took my swing trading course, I always use that as the number one example because during the time WYNN was still in a weekly channel. It was consolidating, ready to break out the range and go higher. So if you were to take a look at WYNN today, you'll see that it broke out of the range and went higher. So swing trade analysis such as that, understanding the weekly chart and looking at the larger picture channels such as WYNN, that's how I usually base my analysis. Now in terms of day trading, I look at the daily levels for support and resistance, and then I'll probably move on to a 1 hour time frame and do the same.
Looking at different time frames, that's a recipe for success. You're not just looking at one indicator, you're looking at many. Now, if we can look at the bigger picture here, what companies, this is the $1 million question I like to ask everybody. Looking at the big picture, what companies or stocks or even sectors are you bullish on for the remainder of 2017, and are there any that you're bearish on?
Sectors. I could give individual stocks, not
Sure.
necessarily a sector type of person. I generally pick and choose. I don't really trade like within sectors.
Right.
I'm bullish on Tesla. Tesla broke that large range on a monthly, probably like within this month actually. So I'm bullish on Tesla. Not necessarily Apple. Apple looks like it's pulling back a little bit, and the casino. So WYNN, Las Vegas, I'm bullish on those two companies.
I happen to actually agree with you, especially on Tesla. People who have attempted to short Tesla have not done well for themselves. So, I believe in don't be a hero, don't fight the trend.
Especially that $180 bounce right off the bottom of larger picture support. Yes.
Yep, I'm with you on that one. And just a quick disclaimer to everybody, this video is not a recommendation to buy or sell anything, and I am not a licensed or registered investment advisor, so please check with a licensed investment advisor before making any financial decisions. Now, let's say a trade goes against you, because it happens to everybody. I assume you use stop losses, and how do you set those?
Yes, I have stop losses. So for a day trade, for example, if something goes against me, I already have that calculation in terms of how much am I willing to lose. So generally, depending on the stock, the price of stock, so if it's a large cap, something like $100 or something, because they're large in price, I'm willing to let that trade probably go against me 60 to a dollar, 60 cents to a dollar. If it's something like a $50 stock, is a little bit different. I have a little different leeway. So let's say something goes against me and I did not set my stop and if it's above a point where I'm comfortable with, I have to get out the trade.
Right.
So generally, I use my stops, definitely. Stops takes the emotion out of the trade, but let's say I'm stubborn and don't use a stop, I have to eat that loss, market order out the position, and that's how I get out.
Yeah.
I generally would never let something run against me just to be right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Just let it go, because you don't want to take that small loss and then turn it into a bigger loss just to stroke your ego. I don't believe that. Just take the loss, keep it moving, move on to our next trade.
So true. Ego is one of the biggest enemies for any trader or investor. And we're talking here about cutting your losses short, letting your winners run. And I've found that successful traders always do that. This has been really informative to me. Now, if people want to... oh, actually, you know what? Here's a phrase I've heard you use before. Social media traders. Yeah, social media traders. We're talking about people. I've heard you use that phrase in your blog, and I assume you're talking about people who go on Twitter or StockTwits or Facebook. They make all kinds of trades, crazy trades that don't really have a foundation in logic or support and resistance levels. They brag about it, when they win, if they get lucky. Why are there so many of these, and why are they such failures in the markets?
That's a great question. I wish I knew the answer, to be honest with you, but I could just make assumptions. I could just assume, because I don't know these people personally or their thinking behind it, but I can assume that, like we spoke about, it may be an ego thing. Like, they feel they need to be right all the time. And I feel that many of them do fail because they probably don't have a solid strategy.
Yeah.
I find that a lot of people that's online, they're looking for a strategy, or they're trying this or feeling this person out, and they don't really have anything solid themselves, and it just kind of gets out of whack. Like, when you have a solid strategy, you really like for example, I don't have a Twitter. I don't tweet. I will have a chart. I'll give my analysis here. This is it, and that's pretty much it. But I don't go anything beyond that. Like, I don't have a need to prove that I'm right or anything like that.
Yeah.
And the most important part, I'll say, is have a strategy. Focus on yourself first. Make sure your analysis is good. Perform for yourself. Don't try to impress the masses of traders out there. It is for what?
Right. I totally agree with that. Let the results speak for themselves. You don't have to go on Twitter or StockTwits and brag about your gains. But I do know that you're on Facebook. That's where I found you, and I'm glad I did. Where can people find you on Facebook, and how can they contact you?
I'm on Facebook. My name on Facebook is Latoya M, as in Mary Trading. I also have an Instagram, which is Trades and Tykes, or you can go to my website and just shoot me an email. I respond within 24 hours.
Yep. And I can agree with that. Miss Smith responds very promptly, very helpful, always willing to answer questions, and I recommend people check out tradesandtykes.com. That link is in the description. Miss Smith, I learned a lot today, and I really appreciate you coming on my show. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you, David. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.